Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in. I'm doing a live stream on both Instagram and YouTube, so this is going to be very interesting to see how this turns out. More people are coming in on Instagram. Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in. Sorry I haven't put an update to say when I'm going live. I've kind of had a busy week, so I've just had to jump on whenever I can. Now, I'm actually doing my first joint live stream. I'm streaming live on Instagram and on my YouTube channel. So this is the first time that I've done this. So I'm looking from one camera to the other. I've got two different devices. I'm streaming on my Instagram and on my YouTube channel right now. For those of you who may not know, I do have a YouTube channel and I post quite a lot of video content on there, and I'm going to be posting more on there in these next coming weeks. So if you are interested, I really would appreciate you subscribing to my YouTube channel. It helps support me and helps give me encouragement that you want to see these videos, because it takes a lot more time than the Instagram posts, and I want to make more of a personal connection with everyone, and I think video format is the way to do that. So my YouTube very easily is also Dannyconsciousliving. So if you'd like to check out my YouTube channel, please do consider subscribing and supporting that channel as well as this one. And if you have any video suggestions that you'd like to see me do on YouTube, I will create more videos related to that. But yes, thank you everyone for tuning in today. I am just going to do like a Q&A style live stream today, not a workshop. I will be doing a workshop tomorrow on the inner child. So we'll be doing some inner child work tomorrow. I will post information on my story and on my YouTube community tab about that live stream when I'm going to go live tomorrow. But for this live, if anyone has any questions on both the YouTube stream or the Instagram, pop your questions in and I'll answer your questions for about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour I can be on for. So yeah, if anyone's got any questions, fire away. Hi, Jules_trendy. Thank you for tuning in. Bora, what is purpose of all this? Do you mean of life, or do you mean me going live? Do you mean what's the purpose of my live stream or of life? If you mean the purpose of my live stream, it's what I do. If anyone who's been following me will know that I do go live quite a bit. I give free workshops on my live stream, usually 2 or 3 a week. I've not been able to do one this last week because of other commitments, but I'm going to be doing one tomorrow and of course one now, a Q&A. If you mean the purpose of life, well, that's obviously another question entirely. Have you visited India? No, I haven't. I do get asked that quite a lot, have I been to India? And it's one of the places I really would love to go, and I intend to go at some point. I haven't been yet, so hopefully I will be able to go soon. Is there any questions on the YouTube side? No questions yet at the moment on YouTube. Yeah, so for those who have just joined, I'm looking at 2 different cameras. I'm streaming both on Instagram and on my YouTube channel. So I've not done this before, so I'm monitoring both channels to make sure I don't miss any comments or questions on each live stream. Right, I'm just going to scroll to see if there's any comments that I missed. Rahul. Hey Rahul, how are you doing? How are you doing, Danny? I'm doing really well, thank you. How are you? Jill, which country are you from? I'm from the UK in England. That is what _is_y_me. What could possibly mean by getting triggered by someone's presence only? So you can get triggered by for various different things in various different ways. So if we're triggered by somebody's presence, well, there's several things for that, and it's perfectly possible that someone's presence can just trigger you. One is, first of all, if I don't know the context, so I don't know if this is a person that you know, but I'll give you a couple of different scenarios. So, the first one is if you're triggered by someone, let's say it's someone that you know. You could be triggered by somebody's presence because you have associations that you have built up from that person. If this person you are aware of, if there's something about this person that you're not happy with, or you know what they've done, or if you've got any memories from them or any associations from them, then your mind or your feeling state is going to create feelings and thoughts, even if you don't consciously realize it, in relation to that person. So just by looking at that person, you can get these subconscious thoughts and feelings and associations that have been triggered. Or if it's someone that you don't know and you just had the presence of someone with you, then it could be a vibrational thing, because we're all energy. Everything's energy and vibration, and it is possible to not resonate with other people, even though essentially we're all one. We're all different individuations of the one. That means we've all got our own unique lives and life experiences, and we're all on our own individual journey. And you could easily not vibe with another person. You could pick up something from that person that you might not like. You might not know what it is, but your intuition kicks in. Or you might just not have an energy resonance. I had a question in the last live stream, is why do I feel uncomfortable with someone giving me healing? There's a particular person giving me healing who's a healer. And it could be because a spiritual healer, even though they do really good healing, they just don't vibe with you. You know, it's all about vibration and resonance. So those can be reasons why you may be triggered just by someone's presence. I'm just going to scroll back up to some other questions that have come in. How to be spiritually awakened again. So you're saying again. I'm assuming by you saying the word again that you feel that you may have lost your way a bit. Some people have a big sort of like a wake-up call spiritually, or they feel they've advanced on their path quite a bit, and then they feel that they've lost track and gone back into very earthly stuff. You never lose what you've gained. So if you've anything that you've felt you've experienced through your awakening process, you've never lost. We just go back into, you have to remember, we talk about waking up, you know, spiritually speaking, becoming more conscious and everything, but we are also going through our own personal evolution, meaning that when we are born, we have been programmed from when we're born based on the environment around us, and we're not taught to think in the way, unless you're in the right environment. Most of us aren't taught to view life in the way of an enlightened person would, or spiritually aware, or anything like that. So by the time we do have what we would call an awakening process, we have our own programming to deal with, and our own fears, insecurities, or any experiences that we've had to deal with. So we have to clear them and process and transcend them, and it's not a straightforward job. You know, we have to go through a layer of personal evolution, and it's very common to have some ups. You know, we have some big clearings and we feel like we've raised our vibration, we've expanded, and then we come back down, you know, up, down, up, down. So don't be in a rush to awaken, because the more we rush, the more pressure we put on ourselves. So if you feel that you have lost your way, you haven't. You would just be going through the motions, because what a lot of us are going through at the moment, with the way that the energies are at the moment, is a lot of clearings going on, meaning that we are going through a process where we are having to face certain experiences to transcend them so we can move on and evolve. As we want to raise our personal vibration, we can't raise our vibration if we're holding on to lower vibration. In other words, if we've got emotional pain or trauma or fear, or certain things we are carrying with us from the past, we can't take that with us if we want to ascend. We've got to transcend that emotion and that fear. And it makes logical sense when you think about that. So if you feel that you've got wrapped up in that, just keep coming back to the present. Keep coming back, bring in the observer feeling, which I speak about a lot. Become aware of how you're feeling, but don't identify with it. And in meditation, it's a very useful tool to, in meditation, be aware of what we would call the observer, being the witness to what your thoughts and your feelings are. Because when you can acknowledge what you're currently feeling from an objective point of view, you don't identify with that. So just basically remember that, okay, this is all the stuff that's going on in the mind and the emotions. Remember that you are not that. Begin practicing your meditation, having that awareness that you are not those pains and those thoughts and trauma. And when you can begin to disidentify from that and set an intention to come back into alignment, things will then start to get a bit easier again. How much meditation can help your inner stability? I've done some videos in the past about meditation, about, for instance, how long should you meditate for, or how often should I meditate for to see benefits? And my answer is that it really does vary. Like, meditation is just a wonderful practice to do, and there's many different ways and types of meditation as well. There doesn't have to be any hard, fast, and set rules. There's key principles that is the main principles that makes the meditation what it is, but you don't have to be rigid about it must be this, must be that. I've tried doing that before, and it makes it harder to meditate, having this rigid list. You've got to go with the flow. But as far as the amount of meditation, if you're able to meditate once a day, it's very well documented that lots of people find so much benefit from meditating once a day. If some people have the time to meditate twice in the day, a lot of people like to meditate in the morning and in the evening, then it's even better. But it's mostly when you're able to meditate. But the key thing that I would say is, because one of the biggest hurdles or roadblocks that people have with meditation is they keep saying they don't have enough time. They don't have enough time to meditate. But the thing is, you don't need to sit there for hours to meditate. You can meditate for 10 minutes. Even 5 minutes of just sitting there reflecting and just having an anchor is enough to take the edge off whatever stresses that you're going on. But if you did that consistently, consistency is key. But typically, if you can do 10 to 20 minutes per day and make a routine of that to begin with, then you will find a lot of benefits. But don't judge each meditation based on how you're feeling, because you will find some meditations will feel easier, some meditations will feel harder, and that's based on where we are in that moment, what thoughts our mind may chuck up, what releasing might be coming up to the surface. It doesn't matter, because even if you have a meditate where you feel that you have to you've not been able to sit there in wonderful, blissful peace, if you find that instead of that you have to keep bringing yourself back to the present, that's still a really good meditation, because it's the act of catching your thoughts, catching yourself getting wrapped in the stream of thinking, and bringing your attention back to an anchor place. That alone will help. Another question I get asked a lot is how to concentrate more. That will help you improve your focus and improve your concentration. Each time you take your attention away from your thoughts when your mind wanders, and you bring it back to the present, you are retraining your mind and your body, and you're aligning your energy more and more. So without putting yourself under any pressure, I hope all that's helped. But if you did 10 to 20 minutes a day, that's a good amount to see some results if you are consistent with it. Hello from Japan. Can the inner child be crushed once it's been healed from trauma? Thanks for the answer in advance. So the inner child, I will touch upon this. I will answer this question, but I'll go in more detail tomorrow, because I will be doing. I've done an inner child workshop already. I think it was last month ago. I will do another one tomorrow, so I will speak in more detail about that. But with the inner child, yes. So the inner child is always within us, but it never goes away. But the part of the inner child that we are talking about that gets most of the focus is the painful part. Because we also have the inner child that has the happy memories, when you're laughing, or you're having fun, or you feel like I feel like I'm a child again. You're having a bit of fun or some activities which takes you back to your childhood, you also have the good parts. Now that's good. And the good part of that, the part of your own child that remembers the positive experiences, really helps us in our life. But the problems occur when the inner child, the part of us that still has the painful memories and the suppressed emotion, that it's still lashing out, and that can cause us to take on certain habits that aren't helpful. For example, we can have a lot of fear and anxiety from our inner child, and addiction, habit, substance abuse, or any form of addictive behavior. Addiction is actually a form of a tranquilizer for anxiety, so it can lead to things like that. So the inner child doesn't go, but what happens is when you can heal that part that still has the wounds, then the inner child is still there, but it's all happy, it's positive. It's you've just got the good parts of it, and that can really help you in your life. And you want to harmonize with your inner child, and the inner child is a real thing. It's acknowledged in psychology, it's acknowledged in inner work, in spirituality, in so many different things, and we can all relate to that because we all have experiences that take us back to our childhood, whether it be good or bad. But I will tell you, the key things that your inner child will respond to is self-love, inner kindness, forgiveness, and letting your inner child know that you are there for them. You being the anchor, not a parental figure or a senior figure or a partner. It wants you. So it is you, but it's that part of you that hasn't grown up, that's still there, that still remembers certain things. But self-love and self-sufficiency, self-security is the key thing. And a lot of us aren't programmed to feel or think in those ways. There's lots of fear that's been pumped in us, and especially when we've had traumatic and fearful experiences, we've not really had the appropriate coaching or healing or guidance to be able to heal and process things properly, especially when we're young children. Because remember, when we are young children, we are in the theta brainwave state up to the ages of 7, which is the brainwave state of hypnosis, which means that we are basically programming ourselves based on the environment around us. Because in that brainwave state, we don't have the logical, analytical filters that we do as adults to discern and determine things and things like that. We are literally taking in everything as it comes. So at 7 years old, that's where most of our core beliefs are formed, and that's where a lot of our inner child wounds would come from. And of course, there are other experiences that we can have in life as well when we get older. But fundamentally, that's the blueprint of where our core beliefs and situations will be. The things that we're having trouble with. So when you can heal the inner child, you will still have the inner child, but it won't be remembering the past wounds. It will just have the love and the joy and the wonderful positive things that you would have. But if you still have those painful wounds, then that's going to be the main thing that you're going to feel and acknowledge. So healing the inner child is very, very important, and it's one of the things that I practice in with my clients as well. In working with clients, you have to. A lot of people come to me saying, "Why isn't this working in my life?" Or, "I want to change this, want to change that." I will always go back to the roots with the client, because you have to go back to the basics first of all. If something's not working in your life, if you are having trouble manifesting what it is that you would like, even though you're doing your affirmations, your visualization, your meditation, your yoga, etc., there would still be blockages that you would be putting up without realizing it back in your subconscious mind. It would mean that there's still wounds that the inner child is holding on to. There's still emotions that we are storing in the subconscious mind, and certain beliefs would have been imprinted based on these experiences. And on the energy level, in our chakras and in our energy meridian system, there will be energy blockages. So I always work with clients. We want to get to the root to remove all of the emotional trauma on the psychological level, on the energetic level, and then you can begin to free up your energy to come back into alignment with who you really are, and then begin to manifest clearly with no blockages, with no past wounds, no fear. That's when your affirmations and that's when your visualization techniques are going to work and be much more powerful. Now, if anyone is interested in working on a one-to-one basis with me on these sort of concepts, I do have some coaching spaces available. You can also book a free 20-minute call with me. You can get that by clicking the link in my Instagram bio. You can book a date and a time for a free 20-minute call with me to discuss what the issues that you would like to work on are. And if it resonates with you, if you think that I'm able to help in these particular areas and it resonates, then we can work together. So I do have some special offers on these coaching programs still at the moment. So if anyone is interested, just drop me a DM or click the link in my bio. But from what I can say, yes, the inner child can be healed, but it doesn't go away. You keep the good bits, and it will serve you to manifesting what it is that you do desire, and you'll have the positive parts of it still with you. Now, I'm going to be behind in the comments, as you probably all, if those of you who have tuned into my live streams and workshops a lot, I'm very thorough with my answers. I just let everything flow and come out. I like to give detailed answers, so it seems. So bear with me. I'm just going to catch up on some of the comments. Is there any comments on YouTube's quite quiet at the moment because it's my second live stream I've done on YouTube, so all my interaction is mostly on Instagram. But YouTube is a platform that I will be expanding more of my videos on. So those of you who do follow me a lot on Instagram, and if my posts resonate on Instagram, if you wouldn't mind checking out my YouTube channel, and if you wouldn't mind subscribing, it's wonderful help and support for me to building up my channel. I want to transfer a lot of my content that I'm already posting into video form so that they can be helpful tools, like what I'm doing in these live streams, but videos that you can easily access and save, and hopefully that will be helpful and beneficial to you. So if you wouldn't mind subscribing to my channel or checking my channel out, if it resonates, that would be a great help, and I really would appreciate that support. Your posts are very knowledgeable and awakening. Oh, thank you. I just always hope that they all resonate. Everything that I ever post or share is not just the knowledge that I've learned over the 17 years of being on my path, but also my own personal experience. It's everything that's resonated with me and that I've been able to adopt to my own practice, because there's lots of teachings out there and not everything resonates with everyone. I've seen lots of teachings and not everything's resonated with me. I share what resonates with me because I've had the benefit from that. And I've therefore have complete confidence, security in sharing that because it's from my own experience. And fortunately, there's quite a number of people that my experiences and the way I interpret it, it resonates for them as well. But if there's anything that I say that doesn't resonate, that's absolutely fine, because there's some things that other people say that doesn't resonate with me. There's core truths to life, but there's different interpretations. So all spiritual teachers are fundamentally saying the same thing, just with their own unique perspective and different words. You can have 10 spiritual teachers talking about the same thing. The first 5, you might think, I don't get what he's saying, that doesn't resonate with me at all. But the other 5 come on stage and start speaking, and you're like, oh, that's brilliant, I've never heard that before. Even though they're saying the same thing essentially, but just different ways. Because we're all unique, which is a bit of a paradox, because on the ultimate level, spiritual level, we are all one. We're all part of the same collective consciousness. We're all one source, but yet we're all individuations, really unique individual spectrums, aspects of the one. So it's kind of a bit of a paradox there. So it's good to be different and just go with what you resonate with, you know. Jurito _ Balobasha _ just another quick disclaimer, I'm not very good at pronouncing names. I always say this, but I always like to have a go at pronouncing names just to let you know that I'm talking to you. So I hope I've said your name near enough correctly. First time on your channel. Oh, hello, welcome. How can I settle my mind? Been hurt a lot from someone I loved, someone who gave me a shock, still not over it. Yes, I mean, when we go through things like that, it can, you know, whatever someone, if it's any kind of trauma when it's related to somebody else, it's always a bit tricky, whether it's a romantic thing or a friendship or family, or even if it's just a stranger. So sometimes There are some things that you can do, which I'll say now, but also sometimes it does just take a bit of time just to let things settle, let the dust settle. So, but if you have been hurt by something, what you want to first of all try and do is to disidentify it from the hurt. So what I mean by that, I mentioned it earlier by bringing in the observer effect. So the idea, now this is tricky when we're not used to doing it. And sometimes when we are used to doing it, it can still be tricky depending on how extreme or intense the emotion is, especially if it's related to fear or anxiety or hurt or reject and all that. You want to observe the feeling but don't become it. So for example, say you acknowledge the feeling of hurt, the shock, the trauma that you are still feeling from whatever this other person has done. What you want to do is you don't want to suppress that feeling. A lot of us suppress to try because it's too painful and carry on. We don't want to suppress that because that means we've got to do more work later on. The idea is we're going through a phase right now where we want to clear all the trauma. We don't want to add to it. So what resists persists. So first of all, don't resist what you're feeling, what you want to say. So acknowledge where you are feeling the pain and the trauma. Acknowledge if there's a particular part in your body where you are feeling it, or if there's a particular emotion that you are feeling, or particular thoughts that you are feeling. Just say to yourself, I am aware of. So you say, I am aware of this trauma. I am aware of this hurt that this person said to me or done to me. I am aware of this feeling. Now, by saying I am aware of and then stating what it is, you, without realizing it, are already beginning to disidentify yourself with it because you are saying I am aware of. So you're acknowledging that you are not what that feeling is, you are not what that thought is, you are not what that problem is. You are also not suppressing the feeling and the grief that you are probably feeling. Grief and trauma, if it's allowed to process, will process and fizzle out in its own time. The reason why grief and trauma goes on for a long period of time is we keep suppressing it and adding to the pressure, making it worse by replaying over and over again. If you let it go through its natural process, it will fizzle out by itself. So the best way to do that is just acknowledge it and observe it, but don't identify with it. So just say, I'm aware of this pain. I'm aware of this trauma. And the more times that you do that, you realize that, okay, so I'm not the pain and the trauma. I am aware of it. So what am I then? You are the observer. You are the observer of that pain and of that trauma. You are the observer of that. You are not becoming that pain. You are not becoming that trauma. Then what you are able to do is you can bring in an affirmation to help with the healing process as well. So if sometimes it's going to take some time, but if you allow yourself to go through that grieving process, you will get through it much quicker because you are not suppressing it back down. If you begin to say an affirmation, I'm willing to release and let this all go, you will find it much quicker that you'll begin to calm and settle down. And meditate as well. Focus on your heart center. Place your hand on your heart center and just breathe into your heart. Because the more that you can breathe into your heart center, the more what you would generate what we call heart-brain coherence. If you can place your hand on your heart center, close your eyes and just breathe slowly and calmly, that will naturally calm you down. Because if you breathe calmly and slowly, that sends a message to your nervous system that you are safe. Because if you've got this pain and this trauma, chances are your fight or flight system's going off and, you feel like you're in danger, which is why you feel bad. You want to calm yourself down, and then you want to do what I said, acknowledge the pain and the feeling as the observer. The more you do it, the easier that will get. And then just say something like, I'm willing to let this go. I'm willing to let all of this go. And the more you do that, that intention is what is going to set into motion you releasing and letting go. So I hope that those will be, helpful in whatever it is that you are going through. Can you share some of your experiences while meditating or after meditation you have felt? So I have felt, well, I'm actually going to say, as a bit of a confirmation for those who feel they are struggling with meditation, I have felt, the resistance to meditate. I have felt it difficult at times to really focus my concentration and meditating, being in those places where you feel that you can't do it. But that's normal, and I've accepted that. And once I've accepted that, everything's become a lot easier. Now, I want to say that first of all to let people know that I still struggle to meditate. I don't struggle to meditate. What I mean is, we have an idea of what we think the perfect meditation should be, or what the key principle of meditation is. And if we feel that we don't achieve that, then we can't do it. So I think it's important to let people know that even those who are very adept to meditation and have experience can still have moments of where the thoughts seem to stream in quite a lot, or there can be some resistance. And that goes back to what I said at the beginning of the live, is that we are all going through a process, our own personal evolution, and we all clear layers and emotional wounds and energies at different times and different paces. And you'll go through a period where you will actually have a lot of clarity. You will have a big shift, a big energy upgrade, and you've expanded your conscious and you're on cloud nine for a bit. And then you will also have a bit where things will get a bit more challenging, because you're ready to release a bit more. You're ready to purge a bit more that you're holding on to that no longer serves you. You've come up against something where you're ready to grow to the next level. So all of that's normal. The way to get around that is to just accept that, observe the thoughts that come up, and keep bringing your attention back to your anchor, and then practice. But as far as like experiences regarding, have I felt any wonderful feelings? Yes. Wonderful, immense peace. And I've spoken about this before. That feeling that you get, you hear so much about with meditation, spiritual teachings, the feeling of bliss and peace. It's very real. I have felt that numerous times, and I've even felt that not when meditating, just spontaneously you step into that elevated feeling. And the best way I can describe that feeling is that any positive emotions that you experience is nothing compared to that elevated state of peace. It feels like bliss, and it may sound cliche, but it's very true. It's blissful. It's almost like relief. The biggest weight's been lifted off your shoulder, and no negative thoughts can enter you when you're in that state. Now, that feeling state doesn't happen every time I meditate. And that feeling state used to happen to me spontaneously more when I was younger than when I was an adult. But it would only last for like maybe 10-20 seconds, and then it would gradually wear off. But it's very real, and it can be developed from meditation. Other times and feelings that I've experienced, what I feel is a really good meditation, is if I'm focusing on my heart center with the feeling of gratitude, which is the heart coherence meditation. My body, the biggest feeling is in my body. It feels like everything's just relaxed and energized, and there's just a much more clearer focus on everything. So those are the deepest experiences that I felt from meditation. A lot of people can go deeper. I'm still practicing my own meditation as well. And again, what it goes back to how much you need to clear. But you see, there's different layers to meditation. You don't have to have profound mystical experiences, even though they can happen from meditation. You don't have to experience divine, elevated emotional feelings like I just was explaining. Just the fact of you sitting there to breathe calmly and practicing bringing your attention back to something, to an aspect of yourself, the breath or your body or your heart center, that in itself will provide immense benefits. Meditation's a wonderful thing, just to be calm and de-stress. So no matter where you are on your meditation journey, whatever bit that you focus on or do, you're going to receive some benefit. Any idea on breath work, or could you suggest some breath work courses? I don't do breath work, and I'm not familiar with any breath work courses. So I'm afraid I can't say anything there, other than that I know how powerful breath work can be, but I'm not trained in that, and it's not something that I've specifically studied. So I'm afraid I can't. There's nothing really I can advise on the breath work there, I'm afraid. Well, thanks for answer. You are most welcome. So I'm just catching up on some comments for those who have just joined. When I pause like this, it's because I've my answers tend to be quite long, so there's usually quite a few people that have joined or questions that have come in. No questions on the YouTube side. Just to say again, for those who may have just recently joined the live, I'm actually broadcasting on YouTube as well. This is my first joint live stream on Instagram and YouTube. All of my live streams and all of my workshops are now going to be streamed both on Instagram and YouTube. So if you are following me on YouTube, you'll be able to see me on live there as well. And if you aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, but you do like my content that I'm sharing on Instagram, I really would appreciate if you wouldn't mind checking out my YouTube channel and possibly subscribing if it resonates, because I'm wanting to put more video content out now. I'm going to be making a lot more videos with more sort of tools and techniques in video form to help people, where you can sort of save these videos. I love doing these live streams, and they resonate with so many people. I literally get hundreds of messages saying the benefits that people are having from these workshops. And so I think it makes sense to make more videos that you can save on a video platform like YouTube. So if it resonates, please do check out my channel, and if you wouldn't mind subscribing, it's a wonderful support for me, and let me know any ideas that you might have for YouTube videos. How old am I? I am 33 in this lifetime. Don't know how old I am spiritually. So I'm an empath. How to overcome that? There's nothing to overcome. What I would say is, if you are particularly sensitive to other people's feelings, you just need to protect yourself a bit more, perhaps. Set some boundaries with your energy. I'm just trying to think of the way to explain this, because we often get... So compassion gets confused a lot with sympathy. Compassion is one of the most powerful feelings that you can have. Do not lose that compassion to other people. But what makes it more complicated is if we get too sympathetic or too attached, or we can get drained by other people. The best thing is to have some boundaries where you can keep your energy with you, but still help people where you can. It's nothing to overcome being empathic, not at all. You might be more sensitive to energies, in which case you'll just need to take maybe a bit more precautions of how to keep your energy safe and protected. I have done a workshop which is uploaded on my Instagram purely on how to protect yourself from negative energies and energies from other people. But I would say setting boundaries, visualize yourself safe and protected. You know, you can put whatever visualization techniques that you would like to do that would help. A lot of people like to visualize white light around them, and ground yourself, you know, and recognize there's a difference between compassion and being too sympathetic and, oh, I need to help this person because of this, that, and then when it puts a drain on you. So seeing any more comments? No more comments on the YouTube side. YouTube has a like. That's really good. My Instagram live stream is much more active than my YouTube, because this is only my second YouTube live, so it's going to take a while. Oh, someone's joined on YouTube. Hey there. Thank you for tuning in. Ritesh Sharma. Hey, Danny. Hey, Ritesh. Thank you for tuning in on the YouTube. I want to ask a question. Sure, go ahead. I'm looking at both cameras because I'm doing both live streams at the same time. So we have a question coming up on the YouTube side. I'll just wait for the question to pop in. Right. In Zen monasteries, during meditation sessions, whenever your mind wanders, you lift one arm, and the priest in charge of the session beats one shoulder, quite strong beating. Oh, right. I've never heard of that before. That must be a way to train you in meditation, one aspect, one way of training. I certainly have not beaten any clients' arms if they've if they've come out of a meditation. So Ritesh Sharma on YouTube, just waiting for your question on there. What is your, back on Instagram, a question, what is your goal of meditation, or what should be the goal of a person who meditates? You can meditate for different things. You know, there's different, meditation is like a tool, and it can be described in many different ways. Basically, there's different things that you can do. You can do a meditation to help visualize things to manifest. You can do a meditation to heal the inner child. You can do a meditation to process forgiveness. You can do meditation to process gratitude. You can do a meditation to clear your chakras, or you can meditate just to focus on becoming that observer awareness. So it depends on what your intention is, because meditation, there does not have to be hard and fast rules. Now, it depends on the type of meditation. There are certain types of meditation, yes, there may be some key intentions and practices and principles that there needs to be adopted. But a lot of the time, we do put too much pressure on ourselves to get it right. And that slows down the progress and the process. And it makes it so much harder for ourselves. So my intention to meditate, there's mostly two types of meditation that I do regularly. One is the heart coherence, because I want to harmonize with my heart center a lot more. I want to bring in coherence with my heart and brain, because then when my heart beats in alignment, my brain becomes in alignment. And then when my heart and my brain are in alignment, are in what's called coherence, then I am in what's called coherence, and my energies begin to align together. And then that opens up another dimension. That's another method of meditation. Another meditation that I use is the intention to clear my chakras, to clear the energy centers. It's very important that we keep our energy centers clear, because if we have a lot of blocked and stuck energy within the chakras, then that can cause the physical disease and lots of problems, because the energies can't function. If just one chakra has a lot of stuck energy, it can't spin and can't express itself. It will cause blockages in the other energy systems. So meditation, it depends on what your intention is, what you want to meditate for. So yeah, it just depends what your intention is. Maybe I should ask you, what is your intention? And then when you know what your intention is, that's when you know what sort of principles and techniques you can adopt to achieve that. Back on your YouTube side, Ritesh, haha, you just answered my question on Instagram. Great. Oh, wonderful. That's the benefit of having, I suppose, like two different channels. If one person on one live stream has a question, but the question might also be answered on the other channel. And that's the thing, everyone. If everyone has questions, don't be afraid to ask them. No question is a stupid question, because you might be asking the very thing that other people might be wondering. Or because I just let things flow, my answers can be quite long. I might end up covering more than one thing in a question. So just ask any questions. I'm the same person who asked you on Instagram. Oh, okay, wonderful. Tuning in on both sides. How can one, Seashells 888 question on Instagram, how can one remain focused while meditating? So best way to remain focused while meditating, I mean, I've mentioned this before already, but you want to have an anchor and a point of focus, so that you can keep, because the mind will inevitably begin to wander and start thinking, and that's okay. The idea is that every time that your mind wanders, that you keep bringing your awareness back to your anchor, back to a place of focus, and that will improve concentration by itself. but it will also make it easier next time that you meditate. Now, you might have to do it hundreds of times, but that's okay, because each time you do it, because this is consistent practice, it's like a muscle, and once it's worked, it gets easier. So find a place of focus. Most commonly, it's the breath. That's why you hear a lot of people speaking about focusing on your breath in your meditation, because the breath is constant. And back when I said earlier, you want to slow down your breathing or to a nice, calm, gentle rhythm that's right for you, because one purpose of that is it calms down your nervous system, because when you relax your breathing, it sends a message to your brain that you are safe and that you can relax, and then that means your fight or flight response, which also will be the main trigger to keep the mind wandering excessively anyway and overthinking, will begin to calm down. It will then help us go into the alpha brainwave state and even other brainwave states and open up the intuitive side of us. You know, a lot of answers. I posted a video recently on my YouTube Shorts, a quote saying that the answers come when the mind is still. And that's very true, because when this part of the mind is still, the heart and our intuition is open to provide its messages much more clearly. So have the breath as an anchor. You can use your body as an anchor. Keep bringing your mind and attention back to your body when you're in your meditation, back to your breath, or back to your heart center. Just a quick thing I'm going to say about the heart center. I speak about it a lot in my live streams because it's such a wonderful thing to know, and I'm always going to speak about it. Your heart has its own brain. Okay? Your heart, scientifically proven, in 1990 or 1991, I believe, it was discovered that there is over 40,000 brain cells in the heart. Now, they are called sensory neurites. So they are neurons that are in your heart. They have their own memory. They have their own neurological functions, and they communicate directly to the brain. But the difference is, with the heart, it doesn't have an ego. It doesn't have filters and perceptions like the brain up here does. So this can give you answers very direct and very profoundly. And it's been discovered that there is a direct communication between the heart and the brain. It was kind of an idea that was known anyway, but it used to be that the brain communicated more to the heart. It's the other way around. It's the heart that does the communicating to the brain. So, which is why if you can get your heart to beat in a coherent rhythm, like, you know, a nice gentle reading, that sends the message to the brain and tells the brain, based on basically all the time, depending on what your heart is doing, the way it's beating, the rhythm that it's beating, it tells the brain what chemistry to fire and wire. So if you are very stressed, you've got a lot of stressful emotions, stressful feelings, and your heart begins to, if you see a heart chart, it's all very jagged and incoherent and all over the place. It's sending mixed signals to your brain. So that means your brain is then going to fire and wire incoherently and send so many different stress chemicals and responses to the body. And then that causes the physical problems that we experience in our body. But the beauty of knowing this is that the opposite is also true. Because when we experience good feelings and good emotions like compassion, like gratitude, like love, kindness, and joy, and we can get the heart to beat in that coherent rhythm, that's what goes up to the brain, which then tells the brain to turn on different chemistry. Now, the brain then becomes a lot more in line with each other. Both sides of the brain become more balanced, and then chemicals that promote growth and repair begin to turn on and heal the body. It's been shown that over 1,400 different chemicals get turned on to promote growth and repair. So meditation is just a wonderful thing, guys. And having an anchor like the breath, like your body, or like your heart is a sure way to help experience these benefits. Now, all of this is scientifically proven and studied. You can easily find so much stuff online about it these days now. It's more now a place of we just need to stop questioning it and just start practicing and doing it. What do you think about family constellation? I'm doing guided meditations of this therapy and discovering traumas on my inner child that I didn't even know exist. I think it was meant to say. I think it's a wonderful thing. There's many different ways that we can access the inner child and whatever traumas we're holding on to. And a lot of the stuff that we are, like for example, when I work with coaches in a one-to-one basis, at the very beginning, we look at what your current belief systems are, what your current core beliefs are, and what blockages that you have. We then look and see what's caused them. Now, that will always inevitably lead us back to the childhood and what the relationship was with parents. So whether it's a good thing or not so good thing, there's always going to be a direct result to what went on with our parents when we were children, for the fact that they are our primary caregivers, or anyone else that will be around you in those early years. Because like I said, we are in the theta brainwave state, so we can the way that we are treated by our parents or any other caregivers, school teachers even, that's a big one, other family members or friends or whatever has gone on, how they treat us, but not just how they treat us, what we witness. Because being in that theta brainwave state, we are basically downloading all of the time. And we can easily witness experiences that go on with other people that have nothing to do with us, but we observe the reactions of our parents or other people, and we could easily take on fear and trauma that didn't happen to us, but we just witnessed it. So lots of things are very key that goes on in our childhood, and there's many different techniques to help do that. And if it's something where you're going through a guided meditation of a type of therapy, as long as you're working with someone who's qualified and knows what they're doing and who can help support you with anything that comes up, then it's wonderful. Because one thing that I always say to clients, especially when working with things like EFT, which is the tapping technique on the meridians that I help with clients as well, that is a very safe therapy, a very safe procedure. However, one thing that to always bear in mind is when you are doing any kind of inner child healing or tapping and clearing the energy system, you may experience intense emotion. So some people might not be ready for that. So it's good to pace yourself, because if we've suppressed a lot of emotions and feelings from the past, there might be a lot to clear. And the reason why it's been suppressed for so long is because we might be afraid of opening up the can of worms, so to speak. So it's important to be aware that emotions will come up, and it might be good, depending what the issue is, to pace yourself with that, which is why it's always good to work with someone if you feel you've got the extra support. If you're doing it yourself, then just pace yourself. But I think anything that can help you connect in a positive way to your inner child, to become aware of any trauma that you've experienced and understand it, and then relinquish it, is a wonderful benefit. And, as I said before, that is one of the main things that I do work with clients in my coaching programs as well. Mentioned earlier, if anyone is interested, if this resonates, would like to work one-on-one with me with that, I do have some coaching spaces available, and I do offer a free 20-minute call. So if any of this, what I'm saying, resonates, there's a 20-minute discovery call that you can book with me completely free. That link is in my Instagram bio, and I think it's in my main bio on my YouTube page as well. You can select a date and a time for that call with me, and we can talk about the issues that you feel that you're struggling with, you'd like to work on, and then we can see if we can put in a plan in place and then see if that resonates, and we can help you get the healing underway. So that's another option that I also offer if that resonates for you. But interestingly, there's been questions about the inner child. I am going to be doing a workshop tomorrow on both channels, which is a free workshop on the inner child. It will be for about an hour. I'm not entirely sure on the time yet, so I'm going to confirm the time today. I'll put that on my Instagram story and on my YouTube community tab, the time that I'm going to go live. And it will be a workshop about the inner child, about just going over what the inner child is, how it stores emotions and how it comes up and blocks us from experiencing certain things in life, and how we can heal it and the importance of it. Ritesh on YouTube, you've said, I feel science and spirituality is connected. Yes, absolutely. And do you know what? Now more than ever, the most up-to-date science is now proving and showing what a lot of all the spiritual traditions have always said. They are marrying up and mirroring together perfectly. In mainstream science, you might not see this as much because a lot of experiments, discoveries, it does take a while for things to filter down to mainstream. Plus, it depends on, so there can be some resistance to certain concepts and ideas. But if you do the actual research yourself, a lot of these experiments I've learned about from wonderful teachers like Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza, for example. They are wonderful teachers, scientists and spiritual teachers that bring the two together, that are wonderful at given the most up-to-date science, but also lots of experiments are published in prestigious journals like Nature, very prestigious scientific journal. So these are real discoveries, and it's now a point where we just need to stop the resisting and just step into and start actually living, making these changes. Now's the time for us to make this change, and science and spirituality are a perfect harmony, and they are bringing the two together, and they work perfectly well with each other. Do you know about Kriya Yoga? I know a little bit about Kriya Yoga. I've done some Kriya Yoga on a DVD that I have, and I've worked a lot with the breath with that, and it's a wonderful practice, one of my favorite practices of yoga. Everything you say resonates. Wonderful. When you do workshop, please keep in mind Indian Standard Time. Yes, what I will do, there's so many different time zones, literally connect to people all over the world. So the main time zones that I have at the moment on my channels is obviously British Standard Time, it's America, which I believe is Eastern Standard Time, and India time as well. So I will make sure that all three time zones are up there, and we'll go from there. Can you suggest something to protect our energy? Please answer. That's from Ishagard9199. I've actually done a workshop most recently, which is uploaded to my Instagram page, purely on how you can protect your energy and clear negative energy as well. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. The replay is up on there. However, what I will answer and say is to protect your energy, ground yourself. You can use crystals like black obsidian, black tourmaline, smoky quartz, shungite like I've got here. Those are really powerful protective crystals, and amethyst. Incense and sage are also wonderful at clearing any negative and stagnant energies. Visualization, protect yourself with whatever symbols or visualizations that resonates for you. A lot of people like to imagine white light around them, or in a dome in like an egg shape, and you can say affirmations that protect you as well. But I did go into quite a lot of detail on some other concepts, quite powerful concepts actually, in the last replay. So that will be on Instagram replay for there. Why do we born and die? What is the purpose of it? So my understanding is that we are all we're all spirits, which can also be described as consciousness. We're all conscious beings, part of a one collective consciousness, like a part of the same soul, but all individual forms of it, all learning to grow and expand our own personal journey. So my understanding is we go through the process of life where we have multiple lives, we learn and we grow and expand in consciousness. And so life is infinite, but we have infinite incarnations, and we go through our own personal journey as spiritual beings. And then eventually we get to a point when you don't need to consistently keep reincarnating and having the same things over and over again. You get to a point of evolution where you don't have to do that, and then you go on to the next stage of your journey. So it's like we are constantly learning, we're constantly creating to evolve. That's my understanding. So back on YouTube live stream, Ritesh, can you please tell us about the crystals that people generally use? I never understood the concept of crystals or how they affect your energy. So crystals, I've got a crystal here. This is a quartz crystal, the great all-rounder crystal this is. Have I got any others around here? Not close by. I have shungite. This actually isn't a crystal. This is I believe it's just carbon, but this is one of the best EMF absorbers, protectors that you can have. It really does help block, like, you know, if you're by your phone. So obviously I've got my iPad and I've got my mobile phone here, so I've got my shungite pyramid in front of me. So crystals are wonderful tools because they are all elements of the earth. They've all gone through their own evolutionary journey, involved into the forms that they have, and now everything is energy and vibration. So how do crystals work and affect us? It's very easy to think about it when you think of it this way. Quantum physics proves that everything is energy and vibration, including crystals. Everything is energy, and we are, even though we appear as physical matter, and a crystal can be very dense and very hard, or a rock can be very dense and very hard, it is still fundamentally energy, particles and waves of energy, just at a certain frequency which appears as solid. So we are multiple different energies and frequencies in the form of a physical body, but we're energy and frequency. Now, if you take a crystal and you are holding on to a crystal, or you have a crystal in your energy field, well, the vibration, the energy that that crystal will emit will begin to interfere in your own energy system. So each crystal has its own vibration, and that vibration represents different qualities. So the qualities of that crystal will be present within your energy system. So for example, this quartz crystal will have its own vibration and its own energy properties. Now I'm holding on to this, so my energy field, even though I can't see it with these two eyes, and we might not be able to feel it normally unless we tune in, the vibration is going to be interfering in some way with my energy. And so that's how we can get different benefits or different experiences from it. Actually, I can feel something slightly from this now, thinking about it, holding on to it. But that is how it affects us. It's exactly the same as if we go along with the idea that what we eat, for example, affects our vibration. If we have a good diet or a bad diet, or if we take on any negative substances or anything that may not resonate with us, that affects us. We pay more attention to how that makes us feel, because usually the symptoms are a bit more severe because of how we feel physically. For example, if we have intolerances to things, or if we have any reactions, allergies or whatever, there's more of an obvious interference by how it expresses itself physically. Crystals are a bit more subtle, but some of us are a bit more sensitive to energies of crystals than others. But that's how crystals would work, because it's just another frequency going into your own energy system. And that's the same with everything. That's the same with, again, with what we eat, and also how other people affect our energy. Because a lot of people can feel the effects of what we would call negative vibes, or vibes from people. And if we feel our energy's been drained, or if we've taken on something from somebody else, or if we feel we've had a lift by seeing someone may have made us feel better just by being in the presence of someone or speaking with someone. It's exactly the same, because their energy is interfering with our energy field. So that's probably the more scientific way to understand how crystals would affect us. When you understand that everything's energy and vibration, then of course crystals would affect us. What time is it there now? I'm from Brazil, and here is 10 in the morning. So I would imagine you asked that question 4 minutes ago, because it's 4 minutes past 2 here. It's 2:04 p.m. So that you're probably 4 hours behind me. So I am just going to see if there's any more questions. So I've been on now for 64 minutes. That's amazing. That's quite a long live stream. So I'm going to sign off in just a moment. I'll just see if there's any more questions that are coming in. But thank you everyone for tuning in on both Instagram and YouTube. I think that's been quite a successful live stream for me, monitoring 2 different cameras, 2 different live streams, and it's been wonderful to get questions on both, so I can practice tuning in to 2 different sides. So thank you very much, everyone. Yes, as I've mentioned before, if you resonate with the posts that I'm currently doing on Instagram, I do have a YouTube channel. If you wouldn't mind checking that out, I'm going to be posting more. I post 2 or 3 YouTube shorts daily on there already, and I'm going to be posting up to 3 long format videos per week and regular live streams on my YouTube channel as well. So if all of that content resonates, please do consider liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel. It helps support me, and if you could give me some ideas on what videos you would like to see, I will make them for you. The idea is to make snippets kind of like what I'm doing in the live streams, but in videos that you can actually see and save and refer back to. I want to connect more with everyone more personally. I think video is the way to do that, and I really like speaking to everyone on camera. And if you also are interested in booking some coaching sessions with me, I do have some spaces available, as I mentioned before, and I do have a free 20-minute discovery call option available, so you can access that by clicking the link in my bio. You can book a date and a time. Wonderful parts of technology these days. It will see what's in both of our calendars and choose which time is available for us both, and it will book in a free 20-minute call with me where we can discuss the issues that you feel that you need to work on, and if it resonates for you, we can work together. And I'm also going to be going live again tomorrow for the Inner Child workshop. So as I said, I will confirm the times later today. I will post on my Instagram story later on the time zones for England, for Eastern Central Time in America, or Eastern Standard Time. I'll double check the time zone, and for Indian Standard Time as well. And I'll also post it on my YouTube community tab as well, just to let everyone know on both sides when I'll be going live and when the workshop will begin. Ritesh, I'm just checking on the YouTube side. Thank you, Danny. Phil, we are from same soul tribe. By the way, I use your mudras that you post on Instagram. They are great. Wonderful. Mudras is something else that I haven't spoken about on a live stream that I do post about a lot. They are wonderful. That might be an idea for a YouTube video or another workshop. So I'll post some more mudras shortly. But thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I will post more details later on today for the workshop tomorrow. But wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a lovely morning, afternoon, and evening. And I'll see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.